All right.
And it looks like we are live once again. Hello, everybody, and how are you today? I am back, as you expect me to be, with another episode of the Manny Wolfe Show. Today I have with me Dr. Paul Henning, who's going to help us stay fit at home. So, what's happening, man?
Yes, sir, Manny.
Yeah, how are you?
We're doing well. We're surviving. We're getting through it, I think. But all's well here. Just juggling it all, man. With family, Army life, and staying fit.
Okay, all right. Now, so where are you? Is it appropriate to say stationed, or where are you living?
Absolutely, no problem at all. So I'm in the Boston area, right outside of Boston. I'm in a place called Natick Soldier System Center, and we do warfighter health and performance.
Oh wow!
So that's where I work, and I live a little bit west of there. So about 17 miles west of Boston.
So is that what it sounds like? I mean, it sounds like what you do is you focus on combat soldier level of fitness. Am I getting that right?
Yes. Yeah. At my Army job, that's what we focus on. And I also have a business of my own where I focus on health and fitness for people. But at the Army job, yes, our mission there is warfighter health and performance and increasing lethality under all environments. Heat, cold, altitude. So we do the research on how soldiers perform under all those environments, because of course we gotta go fight anywhere. So yeah, that's kind of what we do. I mean, we have we look at nutrition, injury reduction, like I said, the environments, etc.
So it's safe to say that you have zero real world experience and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. In other words, no advice that you give today should be taken seriously because you're clearly an armchair expert. Dude, that is so crazy. Okay, let me just say to you that I have a belief now, I guess. What I don't prep with my guests first, as you know, right? Yes, but every single time, man, somebody will come on and you'll blow my mind with I had no idea that's what you did. I knew you were in fitness. Yeah. I had no idea that you that's like the difference between a bunch of kids running around in superhero costumes and the Avengers. That's crazy, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to, I worked with some of the military's finest, special forces, Rangers, etc. So we have some incredible people, as you know, protecting our country. So
yeah. I wonder sometimes, just as a sort of off, offhand comment. In fact, scratch that. Tell me about the sort of expectations and the level of fitness and preparedness of these teams.
So I mean, depending on the team you're working with, of course, there's a lot more of a demand on a special forces unit,
right,
than there is with a regular Army unit as far as their function. But it's I mean, if I go into real details, I mean, these guys and girls have to deal with tremendous stresses. I mean, not only environmental and the physical stress of being under, being shot at, or knowing, you could wake up any day and possibly lose your life if you're in combat. But the mental stress, the cognitive, that's another thing that we do some research on. So when I see these people perform, it just blows my mind off. I mean, I've been in 16 years now, Manny, and I'm just I'm thankful every day that I get to, work alongside these people. But
I mean, at the risk of sort of glad handing you, it's got to kind of be like going to work every day with the superhumans in a way. I mean, isn't it? It's like those elite teams. Now, here's the extent of my sort of the closest thing I have to firsthand knowledge is reading books like Stealing Fire. Okay. Are you familiar with that book?
Yeah, I know I'm not.
So Jamie Wheel and Stephen Kotler did quite a bit of study, particularly of the Navy SEALs.
Okay.
And the level to which they have to be trained and prepped in order to be, like arguably the best team on the planet of any kind of team.
Right.
And the stuff that I heard about in that book was, I mean, I knew they were good, right? I knew they were good, but they talk in the book, they talk about this bloodless capture of one of Saddam Hussein's lieutenants. Okay. Can't remember the guy's name, but how the whole team flips the switch into like this group think, not group think in the bad way, not group think in the Orwell way,
right?
Group think in the way where it's like any one of them can become the one in charge at any moment for a split second, because whoever knows what to do next is the one in charge.
Right.
Yes. Do you get access to that part of their training? Do you support that part of that kind of, that aspect of the training of those elite teams?
We don't get into that level.
Okay.
That is, well, we support any type of requirements that a team would need, whether it be special forces or whatever. If they're having some type of limitation, like Army Rangers had problems in the cold with cold weather. Okay. And had people that lost their lives in training exercises years ago. And they asked us to do research on that, for example, which we did. But yeah, what you're talking about, I think, is a little bit more elite than us.
Oh, wow.
Guys,
okay.
Yeah, what you just described there is, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible. It's amazing that you could be with a group of people, and just how you put it is exactly how these, men and women are trained to do. If one of them goes down, another one just goes right in, and they just keep the mission going. So it is a group thing. It's a group.
It's a total like group flow.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Quite amazing. But
now here's a question. Do you think that somebody, what connection do you think being in peak physical shape has? How do you think being in peak physical shape would support that? Because my guess is this. If you're not dialed in physically, the likelihood of you being dialed in mentally at that level is very, very low.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, without diving into all the specifics about research, there's no doubt. Our physical well-being, especially at that level, we know that being physically fit enhances cognitive performent. There's a linear relationship between the two.
Exactly.
So it's just, you have to be. Not only does it help you think better cognitively to make decisions, but if you're not physically fit, and even if you had the cognitive processes, right, to be like, okay, I'm gonna go sprint up these 3 floors of steel floors with 50-pound ruck on my back.
Right. Yeah.
You might be cognitively thinking like that's what you got to do, but right? Yeah. If you're not physically ready to do that, you're done.
Yeah.
You're gonna get smoked, or you're gonna get injured, or get
both.
somebody killed. So
worst case, get somebody killed.
Yeah. So
talk to me a little bit about what fitness looks like at those levels versus maybe what we think it is. Because like for me, it's like, well, if I go to the gym and I do legs today and then chest tomorrow, then arms, I stretch a couple times in between. I banked a pretty good week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So what about at that level?
Yeah. Great question. So, and that's kind of like, me too. If I get my workouts in, I feel good. I did some stretches, all that stuff. But at that level, it's a whole different story. The whole thing is whatever they do for their fitness regimen is geared 100% to making them more effective on their occupational job. Like, and that's what I mean by that.
As warriors.
Yeah, exactly. So what fitness program can make them more lethal? And mostly what it comes down to is this really, strength building is a part of it. Maybe put a little muscle on with that a little bit, but it's all about functionality and how they perform on the battle. Like, is this movement pattern that they're doing making them more lethal on the battlefield? That's all it comes down to. And they still do the same stuff. You know, they do the cardio, they do the strength training, they eat great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much of that can you tell us about? Because like I'm dying to know what kind of exercises and sort of plans for fitness do you help design?
So in the Army level, at that level, we don't really touch too much into, like, say for the Navy SEALs, for example.
Okay.
You know, these guys and girls, they know what they do. You know, they've been doing this for years, and they've developed standard operating procedures, etc. What's the best thing? And you know, sometimes we correspond with them to do it, but we don't really at that level, we don't really do a physical fitness program for them, I would say. But then separated from that, what I do for my business is a little bit different with people. But on the topic of you know, Army and Warriors, that kind of thing, you know, I would correlate it to, you know, like a NFL football player. Like these guys are how they're getting, but they're getting, like, an NFL wide receiver gets trained a certain way, a defensive lineman gets trained in a certain way, right? And then these Warriors get trained a certain way because they do some functions that are like none of us do.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, and then of course they should have the best training of all, because these, you know, they're putting their life on the line.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's nothing more sort of high threshold than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
American Ninja Warrior, not so much. All right, man. Let's take it back down from the elite level.
Yeah,
let's talk about maybe some things that we can be doing at home that we probably haven't thought of. I know that for me, because I'm used to spending my time in a gym, you know, it creates a certain sort of thought pattern of the things I can do to keep strong. Right. Then you're at home and it's like, oh, well, there's no leg press. There's no, you know, there's no bench. Right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know. I 100% and know what you're talking about. So, and it's been tough. I've had some challenges myself. I've, you know, I was a gym person too. And then this happened and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I got like my backpack. That's about it. I guess I get used to boom push-ups. So, you know, and it's a personal choice. But in the meantime, I just, you know, invested in some equipment to get it home because it's better for me. But I think, you know, we can start at the lowest level and say somebody doesn't have a thing at home. You know, we could start with body weight movements.
Sure.
You know, and you know, from there you could add resistance to body weight. Of course, there's a lot of different things. And the whole thing is, I think you know, a lot of times we get used to these patterns, including myself, and it's like, okay, our gym's shut down. You're like, oh, you're sitting in the couch for a couple of weeks now. You're like, oh shit, man, my gym's, you know, you're just like, you're in that phase of like, I don't know what to do because you're kind of handicapped. Yeah. And then that's where you just got to think outside the box a little bit and start thinking about, okay, you know, there's nothing we can do about the gyms being closed until this pandemic passes. So I've went through this a lot with a lot of my clients, and then I'll be like, okay, what do you have available right now? And then let's start there. If it's body weight only, let's start there. And then let's get you a fit ball, and maybe some resistance bands, you know, and then from there a TRX or something like that. So you could keep adding to it as far as the exercise component, and it's just being a little bit innovative. You know, I don't have a bench right now, so for my chest exercises, I've been doing like push-ups on my my push-up handlebars with my Army pack strapped on my back with some weights on it. It's just
to add resistance.
Yeah. So yeah, the key is just to keep going. Don't use it as an excuse, you know, because, you know, soon enough, I think we'll be back to some type of normality. Yeah. You know, hopefully. And in the meantime, though, we can't just be sitting on our couches, right?
We can't just turn into blobs. I mean, really, it like, if I'm being honest, I feel like my stamina is just like bottoming out almost, you know, and I'm doing exercises, but not with the intensity, not with the sort of enthusiasm, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not with the creativity that maybe I could. So let's talk about let's prescribe a baseline workout, even though obviously that's not going to be viable for everyone. You know, let's tell us about a baseline sort of body weight workout that anyone can do at home. You have no excuse not to do except your own gray matter.
Right. So, well, let's hit the cardio side first.
Yeah. Okay.
There's endless possibilities with that, right? I mean, body weight doing cardio. I mean, we could sit here and brainstorm a lot of different things, but you could, of course, you could go out for a walk. Depending on your cardiovascular fitness.
Yeah.
Start there. If you're a runner, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from jogging and running.
Right.
That's one form
that we can do.
Yeah, and then if you're not big on that, you're like more the high intensity person, or you like you're used to the gym equipment like the steppers and the treadmills, the ellipticals, etc. I mean, if you have a bicycle, you go bike riding outdoors.
Yeah.
But a nice thing to do too is just to do like a general like pick 4 exercises like burpees, step ups, mountain climbers, and like sprints up and down your driveway, and you do what's called a Tabata workout, where, I mean, they have apps for us now where it does like 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's a great workout. You do that for 20 minutes, and follow that.
Yeah.
Push yourself in those 20 seconds. You're going to be smoked. You're going to have a great cardiovascular workout. And
for anybody who heard that and might be sort of doubting it, let me just tell you, I've done Tabata push-up workouts and Tabata burpee workouts, and do not be in the slightest bit off put by how short it is, because those will break your ass down.
They continue to break my ass down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
There's a thing that you could always scale it. I mean, if you're at a fitness level that's just beginning, you scale it. You give yourself a little bit more rest periods.
Yeah.
As you increase your fitness, you just up your intensity, push yourself a little harder, and then maybe just shorten that rest period. So it's so scalable what we can do.
Well, why don't you sort of lay out what the Tabata is? Because I think that I had forgotten about that, but that's something where anyone can take simple body weight movements, air squats, push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, which would cover your whole body right there, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
And then do them according to the Tabata concept. So
yes, sir. Yeah.
Tell us, man.
Exactly. So just what you described, there's a couple exercises that you can do. And the whole Tabata concept is it's a work rest cycle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, you could alter this cycle depending on your fitness levels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest, and then you just keep cycling it. And what I do, like I change exercises up. So say you started with the burpees, you did 20 seconds of burpees, and that 20 seconds goes by pretty quick. You kind of start getting, but then you're like, and here's another thing: those 10 seconds go by even quicker.
Quicker.
When you're trying to rest.
Yeah.
But and then you jump into burpees, and you do that for 20 seconds work, 10 seconds of rest, and then you do your air squats, and then you do your next exercise, which might be it could be thrusters, which is the squat, and then the if you don't have dumbbells, of course, okay. Yeah. But you could just do squat and hold like two cans of food or something just to get a little bit more resistance.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing behind Tabata, is that it's giving you that continual, almost like a high intensity interval training concept too, because you're getting a little bit of rest, recovering a little bit, and then you're going back into an all out 20-second period. And again, this could be adjusted depending on your fitness level.
Yeah.
It would just be a little bit longer rest. Now that's the cardio side of things. And one of the things that, real quick, I mean, we could dive into it a little bit more deeper if you want to, but cardio by itself is going to get some results, but it's so crucial. I always tell my people I work with that we need to start doing something to build lean tissue on our body.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is lean muscle tissue, of course, because that muscle tissue is the most metabolically active organ, basically, so to speak, on our body.
Right.
I mean, we burn 2/3 of the calories we burn every day. 66% is attributed to our amount of muscle tissue. So with that, the cardio itself isn't going to do that for you, right? It's going to do good stuff for your heart and your mind, your brain, your cardiovascular system. Don't get me wrong, it's very important. But doing like a progressive resistance program that's designed to kind of build some lean tissue on you and strength, you know, of course, it's important. So, like you said earlier, you hit it right on the head, Manny. Like, you know, doing body weight squats if you don't have anything else, and just, you know, do some push-ups. You know, you could do some form of a row for your back, or, you know, a shoulder press. And again, like, if you don't have any type of weights, then we just got to think of some ways to start adding resistance down the road. But you know, if you're somebody who's just beginning, this body weight stuff's going to work phenomenal here for the first couple of weeks. Yeah.
What do you think about? I think they call it. I think is it isometric.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff where like
man, you know your stuff, brother.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I do. I mean, I've been in. So the story with me. Oh, look at that. I got a fan. Hi, handsome Manny, all the way from Canada. Hi, Irene.
Oh, hey, Irene.
Hey, Irene. 23 years ago, I got sober.
Okay.
23 and a half years ago, I was literally knocking on hell's door. You know, I mean, not literally, but I was going to die. There's no question about it. I got sober because in a final moment of clarity, I decided to abandon my life rather than try to hunt down and kill somebody. I mean, it was stupid, right? And so the reason I say that is because I approached the sobriety with a level of intensity that I didn't see many people doing. Like, I was literally holding a gun and speaking the words, "We'll go find this guy and kill him." That's a bad place to be. And it really had an impact on me. And so when I got sober, I got into recovery. And in recovery, I got a sponsor. And that sponsor said, "I'll only sponsor you if you commit to exercising a minimum of 3 times a week." And I was like, whatever it takes. Because I equated everything with never being in that place again where I'm, you know, planning premeditated attempted murder.
Yes.
So that's kind of my, like, the reason that I take fitness so seriously is because it came to me at that point in my life.
Understood. Okay.
So I do know a little bit of the world that you're in, probably not as much as you do, but all that is to say that for a long time, I really was sort of into the isometric thing, you know, and I'd like go in doorways and put my hands in the doorway, right, palms facing each other, and push out as hard as I could, and then push my hands together as hard as I could.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Those moves.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for sharing that tremendous story. I'm glad that, you know, you were able to see something, you know, different, and something impacted you to go a different way. That's awesome.
It was like one of those, it was one of those intervention moments, you know, for sure.
That's awesome, brother. So on isometric, good form of exercise for sure. It has its uses. The research is pretty good on how it, you know, it does help build strength, etc. It's really good for those with injuries that might have an injury and they can't do like a movement pattern.
That's what I was just going to sort of get into. So you can build muscle with it though, right?
Yeah, you could. So here's the thing I'm going to go into with it. It's going to become limited, I think, after a while. Now, if you're like a beginner, I mean, of course, it all depends on your fitness levels. You know, isometric spot, you know, it's going to help you. It's going to help you start getting stronger, etc. And well, here's the thing that we know from just doing the you know, evidence-based research on it, that when we do isometric, you're not moving. You know, you said there's a little bit of a contraction, but there's not much of the fibers aren't really kind of moving a whole lot, right? So when you do that whole isotonic contraction where you're moving at the joint level, you know, you're breaking down a lot more muscle tissue, you know, especially, and then here, and which is good because then it rebuilds and gets stronger.
Yeah.
Isometric doesn't provide that as much. And then another thing too, one of the limitations on isometric is, of course, you can't progressively overload it over time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you could start pushing on buildings and that would help.
There was a time at my most fit where I felt I could probably push a house over if I had to, but I feel like I'm long past that.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's interesting because on the one hand, my mind tells me your body can't tell the difference between, you know, the stress you put on it in a contracted movement and the resistance to a weight, but it seems like it can somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And in a certain extent, you know, our muscles have no idea what we're doing. I mean, they don't have brains, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yes, to a certain extent, like there's limitations on certain patterns, like an isometric. You know, they're not going to be able to get, you know, a huge, you know, develop like 18-inch arms or something, probably doing isometric. But
Yeah,
like I said, it does have its place. It does have its place for individuals, and definitely in the
so let's talk about the injury idea, because I actually have a shoulder injury. It is the little ligament in the rotator cuff is partially torn, and so it clicks a lot. You know, like if I do straight push-ups, it clicks, but if I modify so that like my chest is out and I do them with a really like elbows pushed hard backward instead of out, I can get away with them. So stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess really what I should do is I should just be selfish and just say, what can I do given my shoulder limitation?
Yeah. Well, no, that's a great point you just made. And I think you did the right thing. You brought up a very important word there, and that's called modify.
Yeah.
You know, modifications. And I mean, I deal with this a lot.
Yeah.
I've had my share of injuries too. And a lot of people I work with have them. And lower back, knees, etc. Shoulders is definitely I mean, it's a very complex joint, and it's very easy to injure.
Yeah.
But I think without knowing exactly what's going on with you, I mean, it sounds like that modification that you made. Now, I would say this without knowing a lot more. Whatever modification you can make to not have pain and still do that movement pattern for the muscle group, then do it. And it could be like a lot. I mean, overhead presses might get harder. Can't do them. Eventually, I'm gonna have to stop doing these because I know.
Yeah. Same here.
I'm 45 now, so I mean, I'm getting there. But I mean, you know, and then I'm just gonna do like the front raises because it's still working that same muscle group, the front deltoid, right? And it's not putting a whole lot of stress on the joint. So yeah, so anything you could just alter the movement pattern a little bit, but not have pain. And there's so many ways you can do it. There's so many ways you can be creative and work a muscle group without doing like, I got to bench press, I got to squat, and I got to do the deadlifts.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Hope that helped a little bit, Manny.
Yeah. A lot of it is just we have to kind of get creative with it. And I think that maybe the thing during this time where, because one of the things that I think happens is it's sort of not irresponsible, but it's sort of not there's a dysmorphia from reality to pretend like this whole situation doesn't affect us, even if like our work isn't changed, even if our money isn't changed, right? Even if our family is safe. You know what I mean? Like for me, all of those things are true. My family's safe, my money is safe, my work is safe. I can go outside, but there's still that sort of general background sense that things are really strange right now. And it costs us a bit of our bandwidth, right? It costs us on a day-to-day basis a bit of our sort of emotional reserve. And so what I think happens, like for me and my wife, we've been talking about this, is working out at home is just, it's not as gratifying as going to the gym because we prefer the gym. We have to get much more creative. Yeah. And so I think that those things kind of just factor into it. It just becomes like, what's one more day, you know, of not working out. I don't want to spend the time to figure out the creative new thing. But then of course just like stringing a necklace, right? One day leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Now you got this necklace of failure. You know?
I like the analogy a lot. Yeah, I mean, great points all around. I think it's easy to kind of go down that path, like you said, of I'm just gonna wait till this opens, but I mean, as we all know, including myself, detraining is it kicks you in the ass, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could get in a really great shape, and if you just stop and then don't do anything for about 2 weeks into it, they start to go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps on going down, of course. And then before you know it, you're like, holy shit, what happened to me? And I think that could happen to a lot of people at home right now too. Like you mentioned, it's just like you're trying to get. I mean, it's nice, the environment of a gym. You got people around to talk to, communicate. Community and all that stuff is fun. And I'm all with you. It's just the situation we're in now. You just gotta be adaptable until it comes back to normal. And then what's our normal going to look like too when we get back? I mean, I don't know.
I'm confident that at least for me, I'll hit a minimum threshold where I go, you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm exercising. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, because at some level I equate that with saving my life.
Yeah, sure.
But let's talk a little bit about your what is your own mindset of kind of resolve and staying focused look like? How does that look for you?
Yeah. Great question. So I'm juggling a lot right now, to be put bluntly with you. I have 3 little girls that I'm working at home with. They're all like 4, 2, and 7 months. It's insane. And and then I'm doing a business too. I'm doing on the side, and then a full-time Army job. So there's been some stressful days, to put it bluntly. Just trying to manage it all. But what I found is just you made a great point where you get to a point where you're like, fuck it, screw it, I'm just going to work out. And it's almost like you got to be selfish sometimes. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you have to take care of yourself to show up as your best for others. And I think 100%, I just think that's true. And so what's really helped me stay focused is just really time blocking that time to work out, still making sure I'm eating well. That kind of thing, even when I'm at home. And just trying to have some balance, really, because I'm the type of person, I think, being a military guy for over 16 years now, you get trained a certain way to be like, accomplish the mission, don't matter what, just keep going. That's the mindset I've had for a long time, Manny. And it could kind of like, it's a double-edged sword sometimes, because it could, I got to places already where I burned myself out, just trying to do it all, doing too much, and all that stuff. So just try to back away a little bit and just look at the bigger picture and keep some balance, and then keep taking care of my health.
I would imagine that where was I going to go with this? The accomplish the mission no matter what, probably a pretty good sort of thing to have instilled in you right now. But what I wanted to talk about was, I wanted to give my own editorial sort of opinion on the importance of exercise, especially if you're a couple who both exercises, right? Because we know that it affects your endorphins and your overall mood and your appetite and your sex drive and all these things, right? They're all connected. When you first start exercising, they get better. They all sort of get more vibrant, and they increase and all this stuff. And then that becomes your new normal. And so if you're part of a couple that's your normal, and then the exercising goes away, it's going to trickle into all the other stuff. It's going to trickle into your communication with each other, your intimacy with each other, and so I love what you said about, you got to be selfish in a way. And I want to really, again, I want to hit people over the head with that, because it was one of the things I had to learn early on. Is the sort of hokey analogy is, if my cup is empty, I can't give you anything.
Right.
I can't pour any water for you from my empty cup.
Right.
in recovery, I was taught to think of it like this. You got to keep your connection to God or your higher power or whatever. It's got to be pristine. You can't have any, like rust on the pipes of that or whatever. It can't be clogged up in any way. How do we do that? Well, by taking time to make sure that connection is good.
Exactly.
So that's how I was taught. I mean, I'm not a religious person or anything, but that's how I was taught to think about, like, looking out for number one, right? Because you can't run a race when you're run ragged.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And I think that in the context of our conversation here, giving yourself time to exercise is that. It is one of those very, very important channels for sort of keeping yourself full.
Right. Agree. Yeah. Agree 100%. I mean, it's such an important concept, what you just said. And of course, being in the Army for years, I mean, physical fitness is a huge part. And if you can't, be physically fit to keep up with the men that you lead, then you're not a good leader. That's what I was taught. Yeah, that's what I was taught for years. I mean, that was instilled into my mind. But yeah, you hit so many good points there about how it affects, like, communication with your wife, your kids, intimacy levels with your wife and kids, confidence levels in yourself, how your self-esteem, how you look at yourself, because if you don't like it, your reflection in the mirror, then it affects a lot of different parts.
It really does.
If you're genuinely not happy with that, right? So yeah, it's just, we could go on and on. It's but it's a huge important part.
So let's just recap and just give us some things that anyone can do. Let's circle back to that and make that the kind of, like, the sign off. What can any of us do at home? What are some things we can do that can just at least keep the endorphins going, at least keep the body feeling, vibrant? Yeah, great. I would just say, if you have a family, anybody watching has a family, get the family involved. I think it's cool. If you could. It's a little hard for me to get, like, a 2-year-old actually exercising. But you can do squats with her on your back.
There you go. You could. You could. You could. That's a good one. But it's fun to do with a family. It's fun, I think, to do it. And you're all having fun. You're enjoying each other. And you're exercising. A couple of easy things to do. I would start with just the basic cardio stuff right now.
Yeah.
Just get the heart pumping. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than just getting a good sweat, right? A good sweat workout, and you got a good one in. You're breathing pretty hard. You're puffing, panting, sweating. You burn some calories. So start with, like, go out for a jog, go out for a walk with your family. But if you could just do something with a husband and wife or by yourself, do that Tabata workout. Like I said, just let's start with if you have a driveway, do some sprints up and down. Do burpees. Do if you have a stair somewhere, do the step ups. Do the air squats, 4 exercises, and just cycle through those. And then incorporate some strength training if you have some stuff at home. I mean, a lot of people here might probably have, some dumbbells and stuff or whatever at home. Whatever you have. I mean, and the key is to start doing some strength training too. 3 days a week, I would start with I call it like a push, pull, and leg routine, where it's like Mondays you're doing all your push exercises, like that work your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. The presses, etc. Wednesday you're doing all your pull exercises that work the back and the biceps. Your rows, your curls, and then Friday's your leg, lower body day. Now do that 3 days a week, and then do your cardio about 2 or 3 days a week. What I just described, and you got a nice. I mean, you only have to do these sessions for like I said, like 20, 25 minutes of the cardio, and really maybe 30, 35 to 45 max for the strength training part. It really comes down to, Manny, like 4 hours a week of exercise out of 168 hours. It's not much, right? It really isn't that much.
Not all that much, yeah.
All that much, and as long as your nutrition is on par, you're going to start feeling better. Your intimacy levels and all that stuff that we talked about earlier, it's all going to start coming together.
Awesome, man. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out to share this stuff with us, Dr. Paul Henning.
It's been fun. It's been fun, man. Thanks for having me on, Manny.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, man. I really appreciate your time and your insights.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You take care, all right? We'll talk soon.
All right, man.
Okay.